Experience Karen Hunter
in a completely different way.
Karen Hunter is awesome. The podcast.
If you like me on SiriusXM Urban View Channel 126, you're gonna love me. And Karen Hunter is awesome. Hey, this is Karen Hunter, host of the Karen Hunter Show on SiriusXM's Urban View. Karen Hunter is awesome is an actual podcast to bring heat and energy and knowledge and power. A 1-2 punch that I don't think you get anyplace else. Tell the truth. Check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast. You will not be disappointed. But there was television used to be different. You know, I've been talking a lot about art. You know, we talked about The Pit this week and what I learned on episode 8, you know, about the first EMS Black people.
Yeah.
People. I talked about Elphaba and Golinda and them. I talked about that week before. I was remembering watching Little House on the Prairie and all of these. There was some very horrible racist ass TV shows that we grew up on.
Little House on the Prairie was racist.
We did not know. So there's an episode with little Todd Bridges, little cutie Todd Bridges. Do you remember this? And he's all right. I'm gonna play the clip. The N word's gonna be said, but it's in context, right? And I need y'all to know this was on TV. Everybody watched. We heard
when there was only 3 channels, so everybody was watching it.
Everybody was watching Little House of Pa and Ma and them. Play the clip, Smiz.
Now, last week I had you write an essay about the things that you liked the most. This week I thought it might be fun if we wrote an essay about the things that we disliked the most. Solomon?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you think of something that you dislike?
Being a nigga. I didn't mean nothing bad. The teacher asked a question and I just answered it.
Why'd you say it?
'Cause it's the truth. If and I was right, my pa'd still be alive. Being a nigga killed my pa. You answer me something, sir.
If I can.
Would you like to live to be 100?
I'm sure I would. It's not very likely, but I guess all of us like to live to a ripe old age.
Would you rather be black and live to be 100 or white and live to be 50?
He had to think about that, boy. Michael Landon was like,
dramatic music plays.
Yeah, he's like, you know the answer to that.
You know the answer.
Oh my gosh! So Chris Rock ain't the first person to use that.
I'm just
sure he
thinking Chris Rock.
Yes,
oh my
right.
God!
I know he grew up watching Little House on the Prairie like the rest of us. But you know, when this was going around, making the rounds on IG or whatever, I was thinking about how wild that was to see, and I remember this on TV because you know it wasn't a whole lot of black people on Little House on the Prairie. So to see cutie Todd Bridges in that classroom with the teachers and poor guy, and he was like, "My pa." On. Oh my God, my pa would be alive if he would. You know, it's like, would you rather live to be 100 and be the N word, or would you rather be white and live to be 50? And Michael Landon, he knew what he was going to say, but he didn't want to say, "I'll take number 2 for 500, Alex. I'll take that all day." But I was thinking about this.
I'm going to take 50 and white for 500, Alex.
Yes. But it speaks to where we're headed if we're not careful, and where we are right now. I'm taking 100 in black all day long.
All day and twice on Sunday, baby.
But things are different now. Yeah. And what is our responsibility to make sure we stay in that headspace? And thoughts on that, Drew?
You know, I was thinking about I was thinking about sort of how we get a little bit about how I have these conversations with younger people, either on campuses or even at work and stuff like that. And I feel like that there's a lot of people who are going to come out of the delusion that we're post-racial, right? And
still?
That I think a lot of people were thinking that we were post-racial, and then all of this happened, right? Like Trump happened, and then Kamala didn't happen, and the way Trump happened and the way Kamala didn't happen. And I think that there's a lot of people who are gobsmacked, young black people who grew up in these United States. And my dad loved Obama, but he always said that, like, this ain't no fairy tale. Like, this ain't the fairy tale. He's like, if Obama's part of the fairy tale, you know what Obama is? Obama is when the pumpkin turned into the carriage and the mice turned into horses. And he was like, what America is like, Obama is the vision of what could happen at the fairy tale. He's like, it ain't Obama's the vision. It is not the end of the story. Obama's not the promised
12
land.
12 o'clock is coming.
12 o'clock. My dad always had like, I don't know, like, I was like, the other people who hate this are in the lab. And this was before he got really sick and, he would call me and like, give me his hypothesis or whatever. And when I tell you, Karen, that I believe my dad was 100% right, because when midnight hit, America turned back into that pumpkin and them rats, right? Now, I think that what we were supposed to get out of Obama is a vision of what the fairy tale could be, a reminder or some inspiration, right? To go out and build what the vision of what that Obama era felt like. How do you go in then, like when that carriage turns back into that pumpkin and them horses turn back into that rat and you back, sweeping out that chimney for your mean ass stepmama, right? And you are like, okay, I have had the worst. I've seen what the best could be. And now I'm back in the worst. I should be grinding harder to make sure that next time that I don't need no fairy godmother to turn this pumpkin to a carriage. I'm gonna go build me a carriage. I'm gonna go raise me some horses. I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like, that is we're supposed to get something out of this moment. We're not going through this just to be going through it, or we're not going through it because we're being punished for something. We're going through this moment to sharpen our iron, to make us smarter, to make us not be delusional about the fragility of wealth, the fragility of freedom, the fragility of the American promise, right? This moment is to say, do you know how bad it could be? Let me remind you of what history taught these other generations. You need just a little bit of glimpse of it, of what could happen if you don't go out and protect this, if you don't go out and engage each other, if you don't build community, if you don't support each other, if you don't figure out a way to be self-reliant, to protect your wins and not rest on them, right?
That's right.
To me, that's what I get from where we are right now. We back sweeping this chimney out, and we back, you know what I'm saying, as a country and a nation, right? But we've seen what is possible. Now we should be in here grinding and strategizing so that the next time we build the carriage ourselves, we don't get the fairy godmother. Because Obama was a phenomenon, right? It showed us what could actually be possible, but it didn't take away who we are as a country, what this country is. It didn't take away the blood in the soil. It didn't take away how all this shit got built. It was just a little glimpse of this is what it could feel like, right?
And we got swept up in emotionalism instead of using it as the stepping stone, as the peek in, as the breaking open that it could have been, but now we have an opportunity. We have an opportunity. I strongly believe that.
Experience Karen Hunter
In a completely different way.
Karen Hunter is awesome. The podcast.
If you like me on SiriusXM Urban View Channel 126, you're going to love me. And Karen Hunter is awesome. Hey, this is Karen Hunter, host of The Karen Hunter Show on SiriusXM's Urban View. Karen Hunter is Awesome is an actual podcast to bring heat and energy and knowledge and power. A 1-2 punch that I don't think you get anyplace else. Tell the truth. So check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast. You will not be disappointed.